Well, it looks like we're going to do this again. This is Brett, and this is day 8 of our marathon, our COVID-19 quarantine. Let's just share some cool stuff online in the Boss Social group. So it's day 8, and let me check in here and see if we are online and things are working. It says that I am live. Cool. I'm going to share with you guys before we get started something that happened to me recently. And that was about 4:45 a.m. this morning, I woke up and I just had a thought, right? Those early morning thoughts. And I tried to go to bed, but I couldn't. So by 5 o'clock, I got out of bed, I went downstairs, and here is the thought that I had. The thought that I had was, my original plan for doing this was, I'm pretty close to getting the first challenge of the 3 challenges done and ready to make available to the public. And so my thought was, hey, you know what, I can probably multitask and I can get that training done, and I can do some lives just because we're all stuck at home, and it might be something that would be helpful to you and also help obviously create a little awareness about what's going on. However, I haven't had really time to actually really hit the email marketing to get this out there. There's kind of a tactic that I'll be using as soon as it's done to actually really get out there to flood awareness about this new service or this new experience I have. And so, so the plan was, hey, share this 21 days just for family and friends, and you guys want to see it, kind of make sure the group is working. And then once I get the challenge ready, the first challenge ready to go, I'm going to do a massive advertisement for that to bring people into that. So here is the thought that I had this morning. The thought that I had this morning was, you guys that have been coming to this already, I think you're awesome people, and it's been so kind of you to do that. And I mentioned a couple days ago, I'm going to go ahead and give you guys access to that training at no cost. But I actually think I want to actually move this forward faster. So what I'm thinking of doing, instead of just doing these random, I don't want to say random, but little tidbits, what I want to do is, it's Thursday, and so I've got a little training today. We're going to actually talk about 3 more ways, 3 more tactics, and then I'm going to do 3 more tactics, or a couple more tactics tomorrow. And then on Monday, what I'm going to do though, is I'm going to shift things completely up. I'm going to change my website, so it's no longer going to say get 21 free days. It's actually going to say get this training. And what I'm going to do starting on Monday is, on Monday during this live time, I'm actually going to deliver the free training webinar that introduces the 14-day challenge. So Monday, I think the plan will be, I'll go ahead and I'll deliver that training. And it's a free training on, it's actually, I'm really excited about it. It's pretty cool. It basically explains why now is the time to get involved with social media. It explains why most social media fails the typical sales producer. And it explains how to find the training that will help you. It explains what I call experienced sales producers, effectively those of us who are over 40, how we can use social media in a way that no millennial can touch. And then I think the other thing it talks about is why, as a digital immigrant or someone who is over 40 who's trying to use this, why you should never try to use social media as a millennial. And I'll let a little bit of the cat out of the bag, and that is that probably 97% of social media training and marketing is produced by millennials for millennials. Like that's the audience, and that's who's creating it. And if you've ever had a 60-year-old try to learn from a 25-year-old, there's just some inherent incongruencies there. So anyways, that training is going to be free. I'm going to do that on Monday here. So instead of Monday just being a little tidbit, it's actually going to be the webinar that I use to introduce the 14-day challenge. And then the next thing that I'm going to do, just making sure that we are live. Yeah, I'm assuming you guys are online. Say hi. If you're online, say hi. Let me know you're here. It's always fun to see who's in these while I'm live versus those who see it afterwards. And then, so Monday, I'm going to teach that webinar. During this time, I'm going to do it live as a Facebook Live. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to test drive the entire 14 days. So on Tuesday will be day 1, and Wednesday will be day 3, right? All the way through the 14 days. So the content quality of what I'm sharing is going to get much more focused, and it's going to be very linear. So what's going to happen is on Monday, you'll watch the webinar and you'll find out exactly what that first challenge is about and what it's supposed to accomplish when you do it. And I've already explained that to you guys already, which is it's about social media optimization. I'm creating 3 challenges. The first one is how to optimize your presence. So if someone goes to check you out online, how do you win that moment of truth? And then the second challenge that I'll be releasing, it's not ready yet, but the second challenge I'll be releasing in a few weeks will be content management. It'll be everything you need to know about what to post, when to post, where to post. So challenge 1 gets you looking good online. Challenge 2, which will come out later, will be everything you need to be able to share content with a strategy and an ROI and everything just awesome. And then the third challenge after that, which will probably be in May before that one's ready, that one is about with your optimization looking good, with your social content sharing in place, how do you then systematically and strategically grow your social network so you can effectively fill your pond full of awesome prospects that are your ideal client, and how to actually start converting them from social conversations into appointments? How do you actually turn those leads into active prospects that you're prospecting? So that's what the product is. There's actually a 4th one after that, which really gets into harvesting and deep lead generation. But I'm not even going to tackle that one until the summer. You really need to have these first 3 things in place, and then you can actually put in together a systematic process of basically, I think of it as like moving people who are fish out in the wild ocean with lots of hazards to your nice, safe pool as a client where you can bring them over and you can feed them and care for them. So that's kind of cool. Got some comments here. Good morning, guys. So you are here at a good time. Good morning, Jennifer. Thanks for coming in. Cordell, good to see you guys. So here's the deal. As I was saying in summary, I am going to give you 3 cool tips today, just like we've been doing for the last 7 or 8 days. But starting Monday, I'm going to do the full-on webinar on how to use social media, or those things I talked about. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I'm just going to go through the first challenge. And what it is, I always say it's a 14-day challenge, but technically it's a 10-day challenge with 5 days of bonus. What it is it's a 10-day challenge, and when you're done with that 10 days, your LinkedIn looks awesome and it's ready to go. And then there's a 5-day bonus that's built into it that's how to then take everything you learned how to do that you made awesome in LinkedIn and apply it to Facebook, both your Facebook personal profile and your Facebook business page if you have one. So by the end of that 14 days, your LinkedIn will look awesome, your Facebook personal profile will be optimized for both business, because we have this big balance issue between how to use our personal Facebook for personal and business. So it'll cover that, and then also it'll cover, if you're creating a business page as a sales producer, how to optimize that. And then that will set you up to start the second challenge, where we really get into what kind of content you should create. So give me some feedback. If you're hearing this right now live or you're watching replay, please let me know what you think. Does that sound cool? If you really don't want that, then I can just continue doing, I still have a list of like 25 little tactics that I wanted to share in this first 21 days. But like I say, I woke up this morning really early and I thought, you know what? I just want to give you guys that. I want to give you guys that higher quality stuff next week for 2 reasons. Number one is you've just been coming to this over and over again every day. And so I want to give you more. I want to give you even higher quality stuff than what I've been giving you. And then second, it actually will be good for me to get some feedback from you. So for those of you that do this, that complete the 14-day challenge, I'm not charging you for this. You're getting it for free instead of paying all the money it's going to cost to buy it later. But what's cool about this is I'm doing that with the hope that you'll be real honest with me and say, Brett, this day, like totally you nailed it. It was good. You gave me good feedback. Or like, Brett, you totally lost me on this day. Like, you think you're clear, but you're not clear. So what I'm hoping is it's kind of like beta testing. So we'll just have this very real experience where you can check this training out at no cost. I'll actually probably log you into the learning platform for it. So, and you'll learn about this on Monday, but on Tuesday, you'll actually get your login to go into the learning platform. And in that learning platform, every day it releases a new video, and you'll get the workbook, which is nearly 100 pages. You'll get every day's training and all the worksheets and the tools that go with it. So I'm excited. I'm mostly excited because I'm just so close to getting this challenge done. I really think by Monday, I'm gonna have the last video produced and it's gonna be ready to go. So that is really exciting for me. Okay, so yeah, okay, good. You're feeling like this looks good? All right. You know, Jennifer, I forgot that you're in New Mexico. I was looking at the map on New Mexico and looking at your guys' COVID cases, and I was wondering, you know, is it because of the terrain that you guys have a lot less? Or is it because you guys are awesome in what you're doing? But it looks like New Mexico is one place that is kind of a nice place to be. So anyways, like I say before, I meet all these amazing people and I never get to hang out with you again. And it drives me nuts. Someday I want that Star Trek phase thing where we just like transport ourselves from here to there so I can get, you know, really good tacos in New Mexico with you, Jennifer, and come down to Cedar City and get, I don't know, what do you have that's good to eat in Cedar City? Usually when I go there, I watch Shakespeare plays. So, okay. So we're online, we're going. It looks like we've got kind of a group of people here, right, that are watching. See if I've missed anyone. Oh, hey, Daniel. Nice to have you here. Okay, so Monday's going to be cool. Tomorrow we'll do another day like this. And then Monday we're going to do the webinar and then the 14-day challenge. It's all coming. So that's cool. So today, what do I want to talk about? Really, this is what I want to talk about. I want to talk about engaging where your prospects are. So I'm going to give you 3 tactics to help you engage your prospects and your clients where they're at. So it's basically, the idea is, how do you leverage social media to get greater visibility or greater reach? Because let's say you create a Facebook page, you put some content on it, you have your own personal profile, you put some content on it. That visibility is pretty much limited to the people that follow it. But what happens is there's a lot of places on the web where there's already a whole bunch of people, whether they're groups or pages, mostly groups and pages. And so what we want to do is take a few minutes today to talk about how do you find out where those places are, so that way you can go in and share content or engage those people in those spaces. It takes a lot less effort. So let's jump into this, and I'll give you a couple examples here of what I'm talking about. So the first question you have to ask yourself is, if you want to increase the visibility of the content that you're sharing, if you want your online presence to be larger, then the question I have to ask you is, where do your prospects gather online? So it used to be, right, we gathered at the corner store, at the baseball field. Now, especially during, right, this quarantine period, we are all online and we're gathering online. And so the question is, where do your favorite clients and prospects and the kinds of people that you want to build your book with, where are they online? So I think of this as a watering hole, right? You think of the jungle, right? That's why I have this picture here. You know, if you go into the safari, right, there's water, and all these people that are all these animals that are hanging out here. The truth is, I don't think that they're all friends with each other, right? The zebra and the alligator that's in the water, and the hyena and the zebra, or I said the zebra, but the giraffe, all those people, like, they're kind of separate, but for some reason they're all together. And what happens is, they're all collectively together because of this thing that they all have a need for, and that is they want a drink of water. And so there's toleration, right? There's toleration that brings them together. And I think this is very interesting when you think about social media. We talk about being tribal, that because of social media, we now can gather, right? It's effectively a watering hole it's a hole that's focused on whatever the topic is that you're most interested in, right? So if you really are into golf, then you can find places on the internet where everyone who's interested in golf can hang out. Or if you're into collecting pink flamingos from the 60s, like, you can find that group of people on the internet. And it's really easy for us to come together. And so when we understand our ideal client, and that's actually like day 6 next, when we get into the day 6, will be like, how do you really identify your ideal client? Once you know what they are, then you can actually go onto the web and say, okay, maybe I'm an insurance agent, or maybe I'm a realtor. Here's an example. Maybe I'm an insurance agent who's selling personal lines, and so I'm insuring a lot of homes. Well, it might be that in my geography, there's also a real estate group that's bringing together a whole bunch of realtors. And for you to be able to be a part of that group where you cross over and you are the insurance professional who understands the insurance related aspects of real estate, then you have something really unique that you can give to that group, and vice versa, right? And as a realtor, there's just ways, right? And whether you're an attorney or an accountant or whatever these things are, I say that to say, don't think so linear. Don't think like I only want to hang out with people in my profession. What you want to do is you want to find people who are that are in your area. So what we can do, the strategy is to find those places and then start adding content and engaging. And the question is, how do you do that, right? And right here, number 3, I say comment on the best post. So what I mean by that is, if you want to be seen in that space, then there's already going to be posts. You're going to be tempted to go in and create a post, right? It's kind of like you think about in real life. Maybe I'm throwing a backyard party and I invite 50 people over. And it's easy for you to get there to say, hello, here I am, and everyone, this is what I'm about. And what you find is everyone's like, wow, okay. And that's what we do in social groups, often on Facebook. We go to a business page and we make this big post, this is what I am, this is what I'm about. And it's kind of like announcing yourself in a backyard party, where what we find works is to actually, when you show up at the party, look around, get a feel for what's going on, and then insert yourself, I would say with some propriety and decorum, into the existing conversations that are going on. And that's why I say comment on the best post. What you're going to find is that there's already conversations in these groups and in these pages that are getting a lot of visibility, that they've already gone, I don't want to say viral, but they're more active than the others. And the tactic here is, if you will go into those, find those pages and those groups, and then go in there and look for opportunities for posts that are getting a lot of visibility, then go ahead and find appropriate ways to add yourself into those conversations that's going to allow people to see who you are and value who you are without coming off, just too hard and heavy. So here's an example. I'm going to show you guys an example of one of these. Let me zoom in here. This is an example I had from a while ago, and it actually is the Kingston, Washington 4th of July celebration. So in Kingston, Washington, which is a little town just west of Seattle, they have their annual 4th of July celebration. This is a couple years ago, so this isn't this year. And what happens is they've created their own group, and they say, well, folks, let's see if I can read this, take my glasses off. We just wrapped up our last official meeting before the big event. Thank you to all the many people and businesses that help us put on the very best show we can. It truly is a labor of love for us. So I want you to think about what's going on here. Number one is, there is a Kingston page. I know that actually because I created it. I created the Kingston page years ago, right? I'm the administrator of it. And it's a city page that has a lot of visibility. In fact, I'm really lazy. I actually just got some local businesses and they manage the day-to-day on that. But I actually have access to that page. So when I saw this post by kind of a subgroup in that community, as the page owner, I thought, you know what? I want to make sure that this post gets reshared in the Kingston town page, so that way I'm extending the visibility, and they feel gratitude for that, right? So if I say, man, this is a great post, I want to reshare it, and then now the Kingston page gets the visibility for that, then all of a sudden there's a lot more, there's a little bit of gratitude, right? I mean, often the city page, you don't think of an individual like you would a business page, but what happens in the situation here is there's all these people. Every single one of the people in this picture are business owners. Every single one of them has their own business page. And what I remember on this, I was like, I gotta find out who these people are and what businesses they are, because I wanna tag them. I wanna tag their business, I wanna tag their name personally and get all of the traffic from that coming to my city page. And that's the same thing that you would be doing for yourself, which is you've got a business page on Facebook, or you've got your personal profile on LinkedIn or Facebook, and you now are following this group and you're saying, I want to get visibility. I want these people to see what I'm sharing, or I want to extend that. And so maybe I'm not being real clear here, but what you can see here is by making sure that you're tagging individuals and you're joining these conversations, that you're getting a wider audience. And so let's go ahead and look at a couple tactics that I think really, really help. And so the first one is what we've already talked about. Okay, and this one is what I call just comment posts, right? It's you, instead of creating a new post in one of these business pages, you're going to actually create a comment. And I call it getting billboards in high visibility spots. And so that's my metaphor for it, which is, hey, if there's a group out there and there's a big conversation going, and you take your business profile page, right? I'm an insurance professional, realtor professional, whatever that might be, and you go in and you leave a comment, whether it's the double like comment like I talked about before, or you can actually add something in there of high value, then what happens is that's free signage, right? Because it's going to have your name and your business name. It's got your logo and your profile picture logo, and all that stuff is just free. It's kind of like hanging a billboard in that space where all these people are going to see it. So this is really cool. So what I want to do really quick is I want to jump on the computer and I want to see if we can find a couple of businesses and pages and just in real time find an example or two. So in the comments, if you guys have a favorite business page or business group or community page or community group for your area that you follow, go ahead and share that link in the comments, and that'll save me some time from searching. But I'm also going to, while I'm going to give you a second or two to do that, I'm actually going to go into the search and I'm going to see if we can find a couple, just so you can kind of see how to do it. Because you might be thinking, Brett, this makes sense, but show me what to do. So let me jump over to a web browser. All right, I'm going to share my screen so you can see as I'm going to zoom in. Okay, and again, if you, I need you guys to give me some comments if you have some groups that you already know about and like. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Facebook, or even just tell me a location. So what I'm going to say, well, let's just do Albuquerque. That'll be fun. I haven't done that before. Jennifer's in New Mexico. Of course, now I have to know how to spell that. Albuquerque. Okay, so you can see right here, I'm doing a search on Albuquerque. And what I found here, because this is live, right, is somebody's big butt, so we don't care about that. We're going to go to pages. So here we have some pages. And on this we have Albuquerque, New Mexico. So if I had any sort of business in the world of Albuquerque, New Mexico, then this is a page that I would want to follow. So I'm going to open this one in a new tab. Let's look at Albuquerque Journal. It's their leading news source. So that's another one that's probably got a lot of followers. Museum, visit Albuquerque. Here's my biggest problem. Because I don't live in Albuquerque, I don't know things beyond the name Albuquerque. So if you guys have like an awesome local sporting team, or I know my niece actually went to the university there, but I don't know if is it just the University of New Mexico? I don't know what's there. So maybe Jennifer, give me some news ideas on what those might be, and we can look for them. But what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to look at these and we'll see. Okay, so here is Albuquerque, New Mexico. It's got some upcoming events. And you'll see that this happens. Some cities are so big, the page is a little bit different and doesn't have the timeline like others. But what you can find here is a lot of businesses, right? So here's some restaurants. So let's say I'm in insurance and I want to, just maybe I write in restaurants. And so whether you write this restaurant or not, it doesn't really matter. You can find out on these. And what you're going to see is that some of these have nothing going on, right? So and some of them, they're going to be really active. And so what you're looking at is you're relying, what we're doing here is we're trying to find out, are there local businesses that are already putting a lot of effort into growing an audience? Realtors actually do a good job at this because they seem to have caught the vision of using the social media a little quicker than some other industries. So that might be a good thing to look at. The Albuquerque Journal, I'm assuming this one probably is going to have content on a regular basis. So 16 minutes ago, right? So here they have a post here, 2 shares, 7 likes. One of the things that you can see here is, let's go ahead and see if there's anything else here. 11 views. Here's some videos, some other content. So like this one's had 22 comments. So I would say already this one here, even though it's not a very positive content, right? Police identified man shot, killed by officers on Monday. That's a little bit of a tough one. I'm not really sure how I would figure out a way into that. I'd have to read the article and find something that I could say. So it's going to take a little bit more thought to leave a comment. But what you'll see here, actually, I'm not even going to get involved with that one. That one's a little crazy. So a lot of this is what's going on. So people are watching this stuff, the live events. So as you watch this, you could go ahead and leave some feedback. This is really talking a lot about COVID-19, and so I want to go back to this idea of finding a restaurant. So here's a restaurant. Okay, look at this one. So this restaurant's had 136 likes, 83 comments, and 20 shares. So wow, this is a good one. So it's actually fun to think about restaurants, because restaurants right now, a lot of them are doing these they're relying on us to just order our food online and come pick it up. So there's probably a lot more traffic on these pages than there might otherwise be when we used to be able to go in and just sit down. So temporarily right now, that's kind of interesting. And so here's something here where here's a post that's getting a lot of visibility. Now, it's got a lot of comments on it. And so this is one where if you were to leave a comment, you're actually more likely to be seen because there's more people that have liked it. And so a lot of people, when you've liked a post, then what happens is when someone else adds to the post, you get a notification, and so you're going to see more action that's going on here. So again, what I would want to do here is, if I go into this restaurant, it's a great chance for me to say, remember we talked about the biz per post? What a wonderful time for a biz per post, where what you can do is you could say something like, and you're using your business profile now to leave this comment, not your personal profile. Or you could use your personal, but it's your business profile that's got your business name and things like that. When you leave that comment, you just make that subtle reference, like the biz per post or the barely business post that we talked about, where it's like, you know, if maybe you cater these guys to do an office in the past, an office meal in the past, and you could bring that up. Or maybe you have a favorite thing that you always get there. And so you could say something like, you know, at least once a week, or whatever the frequency is, when I'm taking a break from my, working at my insurance office, I head straight down here, and this is what I always order. I always order a 27, or whatever the item is. And what you've done here is you have created visibility. You've put up one of those kind of street signs, right? It's your billboard. Your billboard has your name, it has your business information as far as where it's at, and then it's your comment on that. And you'll notice it isn't very businessy. It's not saying, hey, if you own a restaurant, you need to have insurance and make sure you got the proper kind of insurance. It's not getting that kind at all. It's very personal. And so what we're doing here is we're building reputation or building visibility by sharing content. Basically what we're doing is we're being transparent. And so it might be easy to really start off and say, where do I go eat every week? What are my favorite places? Like I actually moved to a very small town. There's not really a lot of places to eat here, but I have found in a neighboring town, there's this place called Romeo's, and we have been ordering pizza and Italian food from there literally almost every single week since we discovered it. And so it's a very easy one for me to just praise and talk about how wonderful they are. And so I can go to their page and I can get more visibility for doing that. So So that's a cool way to be able to get some visibility. Another thing that I want to share with you here, let's jump back to our slides, is you can actually, in these groups, you can pat these people on the back. So let's say in our example, in fact, we'll jump to the next one here because it's kind of the same thing, sharing appreciation for your clients. What you can do, especially if you're in commercial insurance, is you can actually make a list of all these clients that you write. And then what we do is when we go into Facebook, we are going to just systematically go in and find all of their business pages. And then once we find their business pages, then we actually can write that post right here that is basically us talking about how wonderful they are. It's kind of like a recommendation, but it's less formal. You know, you can go into LinkedIn and say, oh, this is a great company, or you can go into Google and create a review. But when you just go to their page and you virtually pat them on the back, and you know, maybe you've been in their office recently, this is pretending COVID-19 is not going on, and you got a picture taken with the business owner once you shared a meal and you renewed your contract with them, or you were just checking in on them, or whatever the reason was why you ran into them, then what you're doing now is you're just giving them love publicly so everyone else can see it. And so when we create that post in here, we're going to go to their page, we're going to create that post and talk about how wonderful they are. There is nothing self-serving about this other than we quietly know it gets our signage up on their channel. And so if you were to go look at your clients, you could probably go look at 20 or 50 different businesses, and you're going to find that 10 of them are working really, really hard to use social media to grow their audience, and they have a really big audience. Now, I would say you could be tactical and you could look at those 10 businesses first and say, okay, let me find a genuine way that I can go in and virtually pat them on the back publicly that's going to give me exposure in their space. Now, I'm doing it ultimately because it's just a nice thing to do, but I secretly know that it's also going to get my visibility out there. It's getting more people to see my page. Even just like this last week, I noticed that on LinkedIn, so this last week I've just been sharing the videos that we've been doing. Just by creating those posts on a regular basis, I've had, I normally have about 90 to 100 people view my profile. I don't know if it's once a month or every 3 months, but it's already at over 400 people. And so what's happened is because I'm sharing constantly, I'm getting a lot more people looking at that stuff. And so it's the same thing that you're going to get there, is if you could do this on a constant basis where you actually go, you know, maybe do it every day. Every day I'm going to pick one business and I'm just going to give them some love. I'm going to go to their Facebook page and I'm going to write a comment that says why I appreciate them. They individually know you. So when they see that, they're going to say, wow, my insurance agent or my realtor, whatever that relationship is, they appreciate me, they recognize me. So you get points in developing that individual relationship, which is really good. But you also get the visibility at large, which is going to bring in referrals. An example for this, I talked about this on, I think, the first day, but I forgot to say what was so awesome about it. So I have a wonderful friend, her name is Mary Ellen May, and we used to work together at a carrier. She's since on and gone and created her own consulting business. And she was asked to go speak in Germany at this event, or Austria, I think, last fall. And so we were talking about it, and she had created one social post that actually tagged we remember the day we were talking about names. If you watch the very first video from the series of me doing this, we talked about names. And in that, she mentioned the names of the people that had invited her to do that. And she got all this views, all this visibility because she tagged them. And it was a very selfless post that just said thank you. And when I talked to her about it, she talked to me about all the extra views she got on it. But what she also mentioned was she'd already got a referral. She actually already had derived business from that someone had reached out to her in response to it. And this is effectively a kind of another way to do the same thing, which is instead of just posting on your own profile, you're going and you're just sharing love and you're giving it to other people on their profiles, and you're doing it consistently. That's going to increase traffic coming back to your page, and it's going to increase the referrals. The problem with it is it's very unorganized. It's kind of like, you know, you don't know where the fish are in a pond. You throw you throw your bait out there and you wonder what's close by. You know, we don't all have fish finders where we can look underneath and see where they're at. But if every day you go out there, and it's kind of like I think of it like crab, like if you've ever been crabbing, I did a lot of crabbing in the Northwest, or have done a lot of that. And you put your pots down, right? And you put your pots down. Well, every day that you go to one of these pages and you share some content, that you're basically putting a crab pot underwater. And the people that are going to see it can come in, and then you're going to be able to harvest that. So again, the thing that I'm sharing today isn't really that technical. The main thing is I just want you to, here, let me share my page again. I want you to recognize how important this is, that it's not just about bedazzling our own profile. You know, we create a profile and we add stuff to it, and we add stuff to it, and we add stuff to it. And before long, I remember when the phones used to be bedazzled, right? The kids had just put all kinds of junk on it, and they were super sparkly. And it's kind of what's happening, right? You bedazzle your pants or your shoes or your purse or something. That's what most of us are doing with our social media profiles. We're just adding more and more and more. But the problem is we have a limited amount of people that are seeing that. And so the real power here is quit bedazzling your own profile. Make sure it looks good. And when you guys finish that 14-day thing, I think you're going to be like, wow, it has never been better. I think you're going to love it. But then at that point, it's less about bedazzling it. It's about now using it to go out and engage these other things. So I would say, homework from this little chat today, I would love for you to find your top 50 clients or 100 clients. Maybe start off with 10, whatever you have time for, and then find out what social media they're using, whether it's on LinkedIn or Instagram or Facebook or Twitter, and find out what it is that they're using, which one are they most active on. Maybe you have to create an Excel spreadsheet to remember this, or use a bunch of saves, right? You can go in, you go to the page, and then you go up to your bookmarks and you save it, right? You save your bookmarks. But you've got all of those, so that way you can very quickly see what's going on there. Now, we talked about using lists in Facebook, so you could create a list of all of those businesses. So that's one of your lists, which is your client list, right? We talked about that. And so now you're going every day or every couple of days, you're going into that and you're adding these kinds of content that is not self-serving. If anything, it's a biz purpose. It's very light. It might acknowledge what you do, or something light that's like, it's been a privilege to ensure this business for the last 15 years. Ron is the best, and obviously his steak tacos are, the thing I get every time I go. Whatever that content is, whatever the thing is that you can comment about it. So, questions. Do you guys have any questions on this? Let's see if I'm going to look at the comments and see if we've got any other business pages you guys found that maybe we could find an example of doing this. So I don't know why my Facebook closed. Lobos. Okay. So Jennifer says Lobos in Albuquerque. So I'm gonna check that one out, and we'll see if that'd be a good example. I know I'm spelling this wrong. I'll zoom in here for you. Oh, the Lobos. Okay, so that's your sports team? Or is it's a restaurant? Okay. I can look for posts. See what we've got here. One thing that's interesting when you're searching too, I want to go on a little tangent here, but I think it's worth sharing, and then we'll probably wind this up. If we go ahead and look at some of our connections. So, for example, I have a friend named Garrett Gibbons, and he uses social media very effectively. He has gets a lot of visibility. He actually just recently moved from Seattle to New Zealand. But what I can do here is I can actually go down and I can find what he likes. So I'm going to go to the About section. And usually we've got friends, we got photos, videos. We can see where he's checked in. Here's the sports teams that he follows. Here's the places he's given reviews. Where's the pages he likes? Say he's very, very active. Instagram. What happens when you do this is you're going to be able to get visibility into what it is that they're following. And so, I don't know the exact syntax on this, but we can go Garrett Gibbons, groups, Garrett Gibbons. See if this works. Follows. So here we're going to say any group that he's posted in. So we can get some visibility here. Groups. I haven't done this specific thing in a while, but usually when you're looking at the profile, you can see what it is that they like. So we'll go to check-ins. So here I can see all the places that he's checked in, and that can also give you, the reason I show that is it can give you the idea of places that you want to check out, places that you want to go see. So, so here's, here's the Auckland Museum. So of course he's recently been in New Mexico. This gives him a place that he's gone to. You can see all the people that have gone there. You can see the posts. And once again, you're in this situation where, let's say this was a museum close to your home, then this is a place where you could look at one of these posts and say, okay, which of these posts is getting good visibility? Like this one totally is. So it's going to be, just in summary, you're going to get a lot less visibility by creating the post right here, right? Just creating a post there. You're going to get a lot more visibility if you just go down, find a really active post, and then you leave your BizPer post comment in that right there. So nothing that's really innovative, I think, in sharing this with you. It's just what I found works. As I've worked with specifically insurance producers, if you can make a list of your favorite clients and the favorite places you eat and the favorite places you go in your town that have the audience that you're interested in. I remember I actually joined like a motorcycle group on LinkedIn once. And it was this place where all these motorcycle people, enthusiasts, were coming together. And it was actually it was a long time ago, when I was working at Safeco. And it became this really cool place where I could go and find all of these motorcycle companies, like all these little chop shops, and all these different people were coming together and talking. And so as an insurance professional who writes, motorcycle businesses and individuals who are, buying motorcycles, it became this gathering point or this water hole for this group of people. And I was able to then find content that was relevant to them in the space of insurance and motorcycle and share it in there and get that visibility and grow my audience. And so that's really the secret behind a lot of what we've talked about today. Okay, really what you need to do is you just need to go do it. So the final thing I want to say today is go search and search and search and find places, whether it's Facebook or LinkedIn, start following them, put them in a list, and then go to that list on a regular basis, especially your clients. You already have a relationship with your clients. And so especially if you have a client that serves your community, then they're going to have, if you have a really unique client that, maybe, well, which of your clients are probably going to be in the space that you want to grow more. I remember working with an insurance professional that insured churches, and he insured churches all over New England, all over like several states, and he just had churches and churches and churches. And so we were looking and we found that there were these groups where a lot of these church owners or these pastors were gathering together to share things, and he was able to get himself in front of that group to grow his business even more. So just remember that when you show up to that party, don't make a fool of yourself. Don't be too wild and crazy. Insert yourself into the existing conversations, and you're going to find that by doing that consistently over time, it's going to just give you a ton of visibility. So that's what I have to say. That's what I want to share today. I hope you find that helpful. Give your clients some love publicly. Go find some places to follow. Remember to use the biz per post in the comments there. And that's it for today. I do want to just read the comments real quick and see what you guys have written here before I sign off. And then if you've just logged on late, like I talked about at the beginning of the video, I'm going to do one more of these kind of topical things tomorrow. But on Monday, I'm going to do the training webinar that introduces you to the 14-day challenge. And then on Tuesday, I'm actually going to give all of you guys access to that challenge. I'm not charging you for it. I'm actually, everyone that's on Monday, they're going to see a page as a sign up, and I'm going to give you a coupon so you can just get it at no charge. And then you're going to be able to have access to that full-on training. And then on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, probably what I'll do is I'll do a really quick live, but mostly I really want to actually just encourage you every day. You'll be going into that platform. I'll send you an email reminder or a reminder to the group that says, hey, you know, this is the day we're doing this one. Here's a link for it. Go in there and do that. And you'll be able to get all that training, the workbook, the tools, the tactics, and all that stuff. So there it is. I guess I'm open for tomorrow, what you guys want to talk about. I'm very open on that one. So before you go today, if you want to leave a comment about something that you wish you understood better or something you'd like me to explain or talk about, whether it's tactical or strategic, whether it's up here in the middle or down low, definitely give me that feedback, and then I'll see what I can do to share and respond to that. Otherwise, I'll just grab from my bag of all these other topics that I have to share with you guys. And I wish you the best. I wish you health and safety. Connect with your businesses, especially since you can't go see them, or your clients if you're in real estate, right? Go look at your clients. A lot of your clients actually run businesses. So there's a lot of places you can give them love, even if they're not going to buy another house for a while. But you can get referrals and visibility through sharing love to them through their business pages. Okay, I'm going to read the comments. Let's see what we got here. Okay, this is a great question. Lorene asks, do you ever feel like you're imposing on someone else's page when you do this? So this is where the magic of the biz per post really works. And that is that if your post feels in your mind, and of course this depends on our personal emotional intelligence, right? Some of us have low emotional intelligence and we have no idea that we're imposing all over the world. And if that's your situation, then A, you're probably not in sales. Maybe that's a horrible stereotype, but B, you might need to get some outside help to rein you in. But most of us, if we have some little bits of emotional intelligence, we're going to know if we're imposing, and we're going to know if what we're doing is about us or about them. And so for me, I used to always say 80-20 your post, which means 80% of your post should be just love for other people. Only 20% of your posts are talking about you or your service. And this is one of the ways you can do that 80%, which is you go to these pages and you do have to invest some time, because you actually have to read, I know it stinks, but you actually have to read the post that they've created or the article it refers to, come up with something intelligent to say, and then share it. And like always, if it's a brand new group and you just got there, then you might kind of ease into it. If it's a business that you've been going to for years, even if you're new to following that page, but you really have a lot to say, like I know, like Lorene, you live on Bainbridge, so like we used to go to, Casa Rojas like all the time. And so that would be a page, even though maybe I'm just new to following that page, I can talk about, you know, the taco that I would get there all the time, or the burrito, or like their vegetarian is one of my favorite ones they have there. So to me, I could feel pretty confident going in there looking for a place to insert some love that says, you know, I just can't say how much I love you guys, like, or, you know, this right here is all your fault, you know, whatever we want to share. But we could do that in such a way that we don't have to have a lot of prior context. If it's something where you feel like it's going to take more time, then you're going to have to baby step into that. And what happens, and here's usually what happens is, especially if you're following like business pages, community pages, you're going to find that every once in a while they tee up a question. Someone tees something up that's right in your wheelhouse. I remember one day I saw a post from a guy, he's actually a health insurance underwriter. And his post said something to the effect of, hey, does anyone know an insurance professional who can write insurance for a house that's currently on fire, asking for a friend? It's this funny post. And then you read, there was like 50 comments on it. And you read those comments and you learn very quickly that he bought an investment property and it wasn't for a friend, it was for himself, and it was currently on fire. And everyone was in that post. People are like, hey, and while you're looking for an insurance professional, if you need someone that can help, me in this situation and that situation, like this is one of those posts that you're like, hello, this is a feeding frenzy where you can come in and you can say, you know what, I am an insurance professional and I have dealt with this situation, dealt with that. You could respond to every single one of them if you wanted to, and just say, I'd love to talk to you. Here's my number, here's my link, whatever whether you want to make that open, or you might even send them a direct message and say, in your comment on the post that says, hey, you asked this question, just so you know, I just sent you a direct message on Facebook. I know we're not connected, so unless you go look for it, you're not going to see it, but I'd be happy to answer your question. And that's really stepping in. That's answering the phone call that just rang. Or you might leave it lighter and just say, hey, I'd be happy to help, check me out here. That post that he shared, there was 0 insurance professionals that responded. And I remember thinking, what a missed opportunity. All these people who, you kind of wait for that, to catch that perfect wave. You wait for that moment where they're talking about the exact thing that you can help with. We have to step up and actually respond. And so you might give context like, hey, I've been a friend of the, like Sean, this guy's name was Sean. It's like, we actually used to both sell sporting goods at Sears when we were in college. Like I've been a friend with this guy for years. And it would be a very easy situation for me to be able to make that reference. Like having known Sean for many years, impose if you think Sean, but I actually think I'm a pretty good person to answer this question for you. And then he would be able to vouch for you for those other people or whatever that situation might be. So again, I would just say, don't forget that this is real. These are real people. It's not like we go on YouTube and, YouTube's full of like the worst comments ever because everyone thinks there's no, what's the word? Responsibility. There's a word I'm looking for. Accountability, right? And so just never get that way. You just picture that person as a real person. You're actually having a conversation with them in real life, and never say anything that you wouldn't say to them in real life, and then I wouldn't worry too much. Okay. So I always take 10 minutes to give a 2-minute answer. So you guys are kind to still be on the phone. We've gone way longer than I wanted to today, but I guess that's just the norm. So I hope this is helpful. If you have more questions, you think about them, share them in the group. And if you're in the group and you see something that you could have an answer to, then, this isn't about me only talking to you guys. The reason I made this group is so as we get more and more people in here too, there'll be more opportunities for this. But I would love for you guys to know that you are people that I value. And by proximity, you could probably have a little bit of implicit trust with each other to actually answer questions for each other, reach out, share your situation. And my hope is that this grows into the Boss Social community as a place where we can help each other. So that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Thanks for spending an hour with me. Wish you guys the best, and I will be back tomorrow with one final awesome tactic. I'm going to work hard to find something really cool tomorrow, and then on Monday, we are taking it to the next level. So that's good. Okay, we'll see ya. Bye.